According to new research from Amazon Ads and Skift, 97% of travelers will take a leisure trip in the next year. These customers are looking for more than a deal. They're looking for a new experience. Travelers discover destinations through entertainment, recommendations, and everyday moments, with 1 in 4 finding their next destination while streaming shows and movies. That's where Amazon Ads comes in. Amazon Ads Solutions empowers advertisers to engage travelers across Prime Video, Twitch, and shopping channels with personalized messaging that inspires and converts. Ready to transform your travel marketing? Visit advertising.amazon.com to learn more. Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Best day of the week.
That's right. We're back at it. Another Monday, 5.5 years in, basically. But it's heading into the holiday season. Everyone have a good, fun weekend. All the presents been bought.
Got my tree.
Nice.
Yeah, getting all festive, getting the decorations out. Brandy on top of her moving boxes.
Oh, the moving boxes are now officially 100% totally done. So now it's just this the mini Christmas tree I got from Whole Foods because I would, and I thought my cat was, I was like, is she gonna just destroy this like on impact? And I had that thought as I brought it in. So far, she hasn't knocked it over, but we'll see once all the lights and stuff are on.
I was gonna say one night you're just gonna be sleeping nice and soundly, and then all of a sudden you're gonna hear a big crash, and it's gonna be me and the tree.
The old Whole Foods Christmas tree.
Yeah. Exactly. Listen, my friends of mine got like appointments to go and like cut down their trees, and I was like, I'm not doing that. This is a little tiny tree. That's fine.
I feel you. Well, Jamie, you're looking festive in terms of repping your World Cup jersey for those that are listening and can't see you.
Yeah, I'm feeling very World Cup-y today. It was a big weekend with the draw and the match schedules released, and yeah, a lot of interest around what booking activity has been happening. So try to get a move.
Did AirDNA come up with a viral chart to represent all the booking trends happening?
That's coming this week. And
okay.
I got to do some work.
We actually have to work. That's crazy.
Atlanta didn't get the best games, did they?
We didn't, but we got some good ones. I'm excited about it. Now I just need someone to hook me up with tickets.
Yeah.
So.
Apparently, I think it's the Norway someone game in Boston is also the same day as a Yankees Red Sox game, and I need to be somewhere else. It's going to be such a nightmare to be in the city.
Yeah, maybe just don't leave your house. Like go
One
shopping.
Of those would be rescheduled.
Yeah, just get all your grocery shopping done the day before. Yeah. And, stock up on some wine. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Hunker down.
Yeah, hunker down for the day. Well, we got a fun list of topics today. Obviously, we're going to cover some of the World Cup updates, and then the core topics of startup funding is decreasing. And then, of course, a great article that we saw come out by Rafa Ali, CEO of Skift, about how lodging is basically abandoning the middle class. And some key points that he brought up in this article, which actually sparked a really good conversation with us behind the scenes. But I know we've already kind of done our banter, but anything fun from the weekend before we move into our first topic? Anyone got anything special? Yes.
We had our first 6-year-old basketball practice this weekend. So I'm Paul's basketball dad.
Can I ask you, did Oliver play for the right team?
We are the 76ers.
Okay.
So,
oh God.
Oh gosh, yeah. 6-7. Here we go.
Surprisingly, only heard it twice during practice. So, we definitely drew the short end of the stick in terms of the team name.
Yeah.
For a bunch of 6 and 7-year-olds, but we'll get through it. It's a lot of fun. I grew up playing basketball and inside, as anyone watching can tell. So it's my sport.
Michael, I'm excited. We're in the 8-year-old league, and that we move from where the kids can just run with the ball to where they have to actually dribble the ball. So
Big step.
we'll see how this
Big step.
turns out. Big step.
Well,
It's a lot of moving parts to remember. I don't know. My 8-year-old brain could have handled it. So, yeah,
we'll try and remember to bring jerseys, though, Jamie.
yeah,
And play for the right team.
yeah.
Highly recommended strategies for a successful game.
So good, so good. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. All right, perfect. Well, for our first topic, let's jump in. Michael Golden sent in a nice little LinkedIn post I'll put up on screen, but Michael, I'll let you take it away and kind of lead the charge on this part of the conversation.
Yeah. So Stuart Grief, one of the executives at Forbes Travel, posted about a Focusrite chart or research that they've done, explaining that travel investment into startups is at a 10-year low, which is, I think we can all feel it. There's a slight recovery last year and then a pretty big drop off again this year. The total deal count so far through 2025 is 161 companies, where a decade ago it was over 1,000. And this is just I don't want to call it a death spiral because travel will always rebound. But when there's no liquidity in startups, then there's less investment, and then there's fewer founders that can reinvest in the industry that made them money. And this just continues to cycle downward and downward. And we've been on a downward trajectory since 2021. I think 2021 was an anomaly when the travel floodgates were lifted post-COVID and everyone was flying high. But we are certainly not back to 2019 levels or 2018 levels that were records within the space sans 2021. So I don't know how this changes, except liquidity is needed within short-term rentals and hotels and travel more broadly. But I think there's certainly enough private equity sniffing around short-term rentals right now that can provide small amounts of liquidity, just certainly no unicorns like we saw a few years ago.
Yeah. And how I see it is like funding goes through cycles, and like different forms of money, and whether it's the window to go public, like clearly, like we're still not in that window yet with almost no companies going public, though it feels like that's going to start to open again. And there's also clearly a ton of interest in private equity funding right now, both the tech company side and the sort of operator side. So we're in that cycle where that money and the cost of that money and feels comfortable deploying. But where we're at right now in hospitality and sort of the cost of VC money, it doesn't seem to be coming into hospital. It doesn't really seem to be deploying much into anything right now. But that will change.
Yeah.
Except, unless you're have AI next to your name, of which there are and companies coming in. So I think it's a cycle. And as interest rates come down, as we start to see more examples of companies that sort of hit success, and all of these investors like to copy what they see and do well. And when you get great examples like Statera, like doing well in a private equity roll up, then you see more private equity companies like want to do the same thing. And I think we'll talk about it later, but the amount of private equity sort of walking around at Darm and still blows my mind and so many different companies sort of interested in what they can do in the space. So it's a cycle. I think it'll come back, but it's definitely, if you're looking for VC funding now, and you're going to have a tough time at this moment.
With this kind of like lack of new funding, this is where you always want some of the kind of new ideas of how we're going to change our industry come from these people. They're like taking chances and starting these companies. So it also makes me think that this innovation that we're all kind of hoping for, that's going to take the industry like the next step forward, whether that's with the magic words AI or not, like that I feel like that this might stall it. Like you're not going to have people that are willing to take a chance on something new, especially on the technology front, when there's not a clear path to make money from it or exit, you know?
Well, I was gonna say, hopefully there's the one person who just sees all the writing on the wall and says, whatever, I'm still gonna do it. Usually that's the one that ends up doing pretty well, as we've seen from any type of startup story or great like achievement story, right? This weekend I was even watching kind of a stupid attachment to this topic, but Whiplash, right? Like
great movie.
Yeah, great movie. But like he went against all the odds and still like went out there and just did it. And even though he looked crazy at the end, it still worked. Great performance. And I think that can happen in some regard with this, but it really does take that one person who just says, all the signs are against me. I'm crazy enough to go and do it. So
yeah, I mean, I think ultimately this could be and probably is a good cleansing and a good healthy situation for the industry. We were from 2015 to 2020, 2021 propped up so much on venture funding. And we've seen a number of those bubbles pop, as i.e. Sonder is the greatest, most violent pop we've had in the industry. And I mean, even Hopper certainly didn't live up to what they were, the hype that they were building up to. So I think it's a bit of a cleansing cycle. To your point, Will, if you can get in and have the mindset of, I don't need money, I'm just going to build a good company, we'll be on a fantastic foundation of a lot of really sound businesses. And then that's when investment starts cycling back in, is because people want to invest in companies that have a path to profitability and can take that next step up. So
yeah, that's a great point. I didn't think about it like that. So good mindset shift. But Jamie, you made the comment on the amount of private equity you saw rolling around at DARM. And I know there's a lot that you got in terms of takeaways from DARM. I would love to kind of pivot the conversation to that, because I know the three of us didn't get to attend. And this is one of the conferences that I've always heard great things about, but never have actually shown up to. So would love to give you the floor for a second on that.
Yeah, shout out to Amy Highnote and Rebecca and put on a great conference. The theme was definitely AI, but
shocking.
What?
I would say it felt different, and one thing I love about DARM is they have the battleground. 10 different or 12 different companies sort of get up on stage, take 5 minutes to sort of pitch their latest release and be able to sort of demo it and show some screenshots, videos, and then take 5 minutes of questions from the judges. And I would say those 5 minute questions from the judges are some of the toughest parts of it, because you can practice a 5 minute speech. But then getting the random question from the judges is always fun. But both the winner, Judge's Choice, which was from Price Labs, their AI optimization tool, and then People's Choice was Track, were both around sort of making and ways and tools that make AI and work better for you. So like Tracks, People's Choice, like photo tagging, photo descriptions. Like if you've ever, and Brandy, like created and all the things you need to do to get your listing live on Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking, your direct site, like there's 5 different ways to tag a photo on each different channel. And you just hit a button and it like comes up with the right tags for the right channel and just like puts those forward. Like each thing has a different like a number of characters that each description has to be, and just like having that work, like it was, and people loved it, which is why they won People's Choice. We sort of announced AI agent for doing your revenue projections, price and guesty, and released an AI agent around like doing your revenue management. Like, so all these things have moved from like a summary around a chart, which is like cute and cool, but ultimately like actually do the work that makes my job easier. And we're moving into that next phase of like, my job's actually going to get easier because there's an AI agent that's going to do that work for me. And like, I got so excited about what all these companies were launching, because it's actually going to save people time, free up things, time to do other things.
Yeah, the world of AI agents just doing communications and guest management is, I think it's pretty much solved. There's some great companies out there already doing that. But now it's, what else can you do for me? Revenue management seems really easy. A lot of the back end manual operations components, like building a listing, would be just massive time savers. And then, I'm curious what comes after revenue management, because that seems like the most ripe and highest ROI for any company, is to have a very solid daily price optimizer versus just the suggestions that a lot of the platforms give today, where a single revenue manager can do not 3 or 4 hotels, they can do 10 or 12 hotels. Keep an eye on 4 or 5 times the amount of normal volume. And I have to imagine we're not that far out from it.
My AI wish list, and I've been hammering on this from the beginning, but it's like, hopefully someone at Breezeway is listening, but just figuring out a way to like use AI to help schedule and automate all of the back end ops, like being seeing companies now that are like 3 times the size or twice the size Romy was, and the volume of information that comes in for like maintenance requests. So like scheduling them, moving around, taking it in when a guest actually has checked out, and factoring that in and moving the pieces all around instead of having like a person do that would be fantastic. And capacity-based housekeeping. So there's my Breezeway wish list in case Jeremy's listening. And
Brandy's Christmas list for Breezeway. Can you please?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's like just totally like ripe for all of that, and very excited to see if someone is listening.
We'll find out.
The other interesting discussion, and maybe we can, and this could be a topic or a prediction for 2026, was around, and for a lot of these tools to really take it to the next level, like we cannot have our operations and our revenue data sitting in separate silos. Like this, yes. And all the data, and like whether it lives in your PMS, it lives in Breezeway, it lives in Wheelhouse, it lives in Price Labs, like and needing sort of a unified data system to and bring things all together and actually have it work together. Like there was great sort of discussion and debate around that. And whether it's your PMS or whether it's like, we need a way and where you have your own data lake, database where everything feeds into, and then is able to and sort of feed multiple systems to sort of see all the things happening across your business.
Yeah, that's something that I realized I had started to take for granted. A huge shout out to Doug Truitt, who built us this like incredible commercial dashboard at Romy. And I was so used to just having so much data that over the course of like 2 years, we had custom built for exactly what we needed. And then there's just things that I was used to just having, and I don't have that right now. And it's just like, oh yeah, because we had to custom build exactly what we wanted to see. And then also, to your point, incorporating the operations component of that, like all the operations data. So yeah, the data analytics is another great spot for that.
Yeah, I was going to say I had a talk with good old Doug Truitt back in the day after having him on Slick Talk, because there was a point in time where I was looking at this and like there's a big data issue in general, right? Like we don't have a standardized data terminology. We don't have standardized data practices. A lot of groups have come together in other industries, Microsoft and Google, for example, created organizations around creating certain standards on, certain topics that are kind of a big issue in their industry. And no one's done that. And it's one of the things, like seeing people that know how to use the data with Doug truly knows how to pull the data together, put it into a presentable chart. So like the hard part with that is that you have people like Doug who are great at it, but the rest of the industry of the operators are very much operators. They're learning just now where to get all their data and how to do it. So I think the data piece is kind of the, dare I say it, the next frontier for all of us to be focused on, because data has become the new oil. So it's basically
There's the soundbite.
yeah, it is. It truly is. It's like, look at what all these companies are trying to buy now. It's not really oil. It really is data. Yeah. Anyways, sorry, I'll get off my high horse.
Speaking of data, do you guys want the data nugget of the week?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to present it as a number, but it's really going to be a guess for you guys. So the number is 820. And it was the total number of nights that were booked in a single city around a single game around the World Cup that drove the most bookings. So the schedules were announced on Friday and Saturday, and there was one game above the rest that drove the most bookings. Can you guess what game that is? So 2 countries is what you're trying to
Can I pull up the country list?
Go ahead, Michael.
Has a guess.
I'm going to guess Mexico City, the opening game, Mexico versus South Africa.
No, this is number of new bookings just happening over this weekend. We already knew Mexico City. That's a really strong demand game, but this is net new bookings over the weekend.
Oh, geez. Okay, I am looking at all the games because I
I know the answer, so I can't guess.
Okay. Also, people in the comments listening.
I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
It's where Brandy moved from, not to.
Oh, yes. Oh, Colombia, Portugal.
No.
Miami.
Well, there's only 4.
Miami, Scotland versus Brazil.
Ding, 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 ding.
Scotland versus Brazil.
Yeah. So 820 nights booked for just June 24th in the course of 2 days. So an incredible surge in bookings around that game.
Also laughing at Chloe from Air DNA in the comments. She's abstaining this time.
For all the listeners that don't know, last time I called Chloe an inside trader because she guessed the right answers, but in reality she wasn't. She was just a good guesser. So I love it. Thanks, Chloe, for tuning in, and of course Paul Manzi. Paul guessed Argentina, Algeria.
So
also good guess.
I will go ahead and also make a bold prediction. Yeah. The amount of Scottish that pass out from heat exhaustion in June in Miami is going to be enormous.
Oh my God. Also, like,
bring your sunscreen, Scottish people.
If you haven't been to the Hard Rock Stadium, it is awful in the heat. Like, one side of that stadium gets absolutely roasted, and then the parking lot is just, there's no shade, there's no coverage. It is just, bring sunscreen, bring like misters. I mean, it's going to be a long day.
Well, the Scots drove the number 2 most booked game to Scotland versus Haiti in Boston on June 13th. So, I mean, who would have guessed that the Scots, more than any other country, would have booked the most number of rooms?
Well, because they haven't been in it, right, in the 20 or 30 years, something like that.
Yeah.
28 years or something crazy. And those 2 cities make sense because there's direct flights from Edinburgh to Miami to Boston. So if anyone watched any of the videos of Scotland actually qualifying, it's not a bold guess to say they're going to lead the demand of games in the first round.
It's gonna be fun.
That's exciting. They're I feel like that's a great country to be traveling. Like, they're always a good time. So I think that'll be fun.
Yeah. And so Boston also has Scotland versus Morocco, which was the 3rd most booked game. So Boston really racking it in with getting Scotland.
Yeah.
And in Scotland.
That's great. It's gonna be fun to update and see Brandy hunker in for that day.
Yeah, or you know what? I'm a big social butterfly. I might go put myself. I'm not gonna go, try to go to a bar, but I'll probably be out in the fray. I want to go see what's up.
She'll be
Plus
neat.
Gillette, the
Later on.
games are all at Gillette, which is like out is in Foxborough. So it'll be like chaos in the city, but like during the game, people will probably filter out, hopefully.
100%. Well, we got about 5 minutes left to go into this topic, which was an article that we saw this morning put out by Rafit, like I said earlier in the episode, discussing on how the landscape, or I guess the middle class, has been pushed out from lodging, and it's been, in his words, quote unquote, abandoned. And this was generating some good conversation behind the scenes. And so I would say let's give it to Brandy, because she's obviously got a lot to say. So I'll just say
Well,
that.
first, I feel like we could have like an entire episode about this article. Rafit did an incredible job. It's really good. I highly recommend everyone go kind of dive into the details. But, this is specifically focusing a lot on hotels and how there is just kind of this barbell effect of the middle just not really existing or not getting the development. And it makes a lot of sense to me, like about, when we talk about what is getting the most attention, what is getting the most investment. And I think short-term rentals are doing a little bit of a better job of still providing an option for a middle-class family. But I'm sure every operator knows, like, your costs are going up, like your ADRs, everyone's feeling a little bit of a pinch in places, but your cleaning fees might be going up because your cleaning costs are going up. It does feel very tricky. But I would say, compared to the hotel industry, I do think that VRs are doing a little bit better of continuing to hold some sort of space for drive-to markets, families that are looking for a semi-affordable vacation.
Yeah, what's happened in the hotel world on the development side, it just does not pencil to build a mid-tier hotel brand anymore. That's why you see all of the brands trying to sign up premium product. And then you've got the lower tier roadside motels that get a little bit of lipstick on them, and they stay in the budget category. And those can transact and make sense. But there's this entire the middle class of hotel brands is kind of frozen because development costs have become so onerous and so high that a Holiday Inn is banded by an ADR, and I'm making the ADR up, from $150 to $249. That's the band that they can price their property in. And you cannot build for those prices at current state. So development costs have to come down, or franchise agreements have to change, or we just see the evolution of brands pushing into, call it the K-shaped economy of hospitality. The premium gets more and more, and then the budget gets a longer tail of budget style properties. But I don't know how this ends, except for building costs come down at some point.
Yeah, and analyzing the hotel side, it's interesting on a lot of the new brands that are coming in are exactly, and they're geared towards the middle, but they're not net new build. They have to be sort of brands that you sort of deflag into. So Oyo, True, like these are all meant to be a light renovation and then sort of launch into it. So, but that's all has to sort of live with the existing hotel stock. And then on the short-term rental side, and we've done so much looking into this on like where the demand is sort of leaving on hotels. This hotel demand is just collapsing on the lower end. And a lot of times it's going to short-term rentals because they do have that affordable option. It's like the next lowest tier for someone looking to save money, but still take that trip. It's like, all right, we can't afford a hotel. Like, let's find a 3-bedroom short-term rental that we can maybe save on other aspects of the trip. So cooking, meals, entertainment, the like. So it's one of the downside scenarios for the industry is just, and if we do go into recession or we continue to see sort of the lower end eroded out in terms of spending power, that it could be a net benefit for short-term rentals because we are that option when someone can't afford a hotel. So remember, like 9 out of 10 times that a trip's happening, someone's staying in a hotel. So if they're looking to save money, a lot of times they go to a short-term rental.
For sure. All great points. And before I say the comment, I wanted to say Kate Parrish, who joins in a lot of the hotel episodes, says, I joined for this topic, and yes, could spend hours talking about this. My parents couldn't do what they did for us every summer in the 80s if they were trying to do it today. And I agree. Even if you were trying to do a minimal version of that, probably it still could be very costly. But the one thing that really stood out for me in the article, in Rafit's words, was we really have, going more into Michael's point, we have a real estate economy or economics versus the hospitality economics, and they're just not adding up, creating that K-shape form. And there's another article that came out on Skift that I really liked. Last week we had our Skift Aviation Forum in Texas, and there was a lot of conversation about premium, right? Everyone's focusing on premium, the premium credit cards, premium rewards and tiers. And the chief customer officer of United Airlines said a really good point. He says, we can't be profitable running an empty plane with a full first class. And for me, I think that is like the greatest line, like kind of a drop mic moment, because it's correct. All the hotels are pointing into premium. We always talk about on the show how the luxury sector never is getting hurt from COVID, from an economic downturn, all these things. Like the luxury premium side has always done well, but that can't prop us all up. Like we won't be able to run profitable businesses based off of just the premium push that we're seeing. So I think it's easy to get excited by it because obviously there's money and we want to obviously generate some cash, but at the end of the day, we are truly pushing further and further away.
He did give the kind of 3 ways to potentially rebuild, and we have the micro chains, 10 to 20 properties. Michael is kind of part of that movement right now. The motor courts, and this one I thought was interesting because I've seen a lot of these kind of pop up on my Instagram. I've stayed at one in Santa Fe called El Rey, but it became more luxury. It wasn't like crazy luxury. It was still expensive, or inexpensive comparatively, but it wasn't like $100 a night rack rate, So that I think you might have to renovate. Renovations are still expensive and part of that, building cost. And then the family cabin clusters. So kind of that outdoor movement that we've seen. So hopefully and I would also say another way is if families can, even though obviously a lot of this is based around like vacations, but going in like slightly off peak times, because you'd be surprised at how far those ADRs go when you go during a slow season. So if you can manage it, like that might be a way to get it done.
It is my favorite time to travel. It's so underrated to go to, Scotland in November. Weather's horrible, but nobody's there. You actually get the authentic piece of it versus trying to go there during Fringe Festival in the summer. You get a big difference of the feel of what life is like. And that's why so many people travel, is to, as Brian Chesky says, live like a local. You miss that by traveling during peak season. It's miserable. It's overcrowded. It's too expensive, yada, yada. And then to Rafit's 3 points, not to toot our own horn over at Nook, but literally that's our playbook, is look at small hotels that need a little bit of a lift on land so we can build cabin clusters. And it's a playbook that seems so obvious to us, and it doesn't seem like it's really hit the market much yet. So I'm excited to see us play it out, and hopefully we remain on trend for the next decade or so.
You're just going to be a trendsetter, my guy. Just a trendsetter. No, but one of the other comments that Rafa put in there is that I think as an industry, refuse to truly look at innovation to make our operations more affordable. I truly believe it. Like, yes, there's all this tech and all this cool stuff, but at the end of the day, we create products that are still very expensive to operate, not just build. So whether it's a new build or a renovation or a takeover or whatever, there's been a big lack of innovation in operations and how we run things and how we're going to create the expectation and the standard while executing that warm, fuzzy hospitality feeling that I believe Randy was mentioning behind the scenes. It's like, yeah, automation is great and it can make things feel bland, but honestly, it opens up the opportunity to just like let you go play with other things. I'm not saying automation is the key, but I do believe it's true lack of innovation in operations.
Well, if you have any ideas for me, I'm all ears.
I'm not in the operator seat anymore. Okay. I got out of that game. I'm happy. But as a customer, I'll just say that. Anyways, great episode today. For the sake of time, I think we got a little bit over, but I wanted to give a quick shout out to the obvious longtime listeners, Paul Manzi, and now we'll consider Chloe a new longtime listener since she's been tuning in these last couple episodes. And of course, Kate Parrish, who always joins in on the hotel side of things. Really appreciate your guys live tuning in, and would love to hear what you guys got coming up this week before we wrap up the episode. Brandy, what do you got going on?
Oh my gosh. I get to go in market to Florida. I get to get out of this cold. It was 9 degrees the other day. 9. I was like, that is some February weather. And so I have to go, out of work trip to Florida, which I'm not upset about at all.
There you go. Well, what part of Florida?
Anna Maria Island.
Okay. Ooh. It's Terry White.
Terry White. Yeah.
Shout out to Terry.
Lovely.
Jamie?
My wife is traveling for a work trip this week, so I've got the kids Tuesday through Saturday. So that is going to be an exciting week for me.
Yeah.
We should send Jamie coffee
Lots
and alcohol, maybe?
Yeah, I need to get to the
Pizza
store
delivery.
at some point today and stock up on something.
Some dad care package would be needed. Golden?
Yeah, it feels like it's the last week of scramble before everyone starts to kind of break off for the holidays. So just trying to tie up some loose ends, and I don't like sitting on work being on my plate. So just trying to offload it and get it done and pass to someone else's plate.
Circle back in the New Year season.
Yes, is upon us.
Circle back.
Love it.
How about you, Will?
Will, you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, this weekend I did not get up to the mountains because I had a $1,200 fix to do on my car. So that was fun. RIP to my wallet. But my best friend's wife is going to be out of town this week, and so I'm gonna try and convince him to take on his first 14er and push him out into a class 3 peak. So it'll be a good time this weekend. But no, other than that, just work and getting things ready for 2026 as we have a bunch of strategy stuff to pull off. So it's going to be fun. Yeah. But outside of that, all good. Excited for the Wednesday episode as they are covering their predictions from the beginning of the year this week, since Steve Turk will be out the following week. And then for the three of us, our next episode will be our predictions episode. So get ready for all of our longtime listeners to hear what we hit and hear what we missed. It's gonna be a good time.
I'm nervous. I don't remember what I said.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I don't
remember what I said either.
I was gonna say same here, unless it's probably like one mention of Uber. I'm pretty sure, but I know that one's not gonna be a hit,
Uber buys Expedia. That hasn't happened yet. Still got a few weeks left.
Yeah. One day. Anyways, thanks to all of our live viewers. And like always, we'll see you guys on the episode next week.